It's been awake with its eyes just staring wide open, not even blinking for a second. A YouTuber uploads exactly when he needs to. There's no being late, there's no being early, there's no being on time. It's just like the wizard Gandalf said. We got GSC PL. Pretty interesting tournament. This is the 5th iteration. I've managed, I've hosted, I've played, and I've sat out. So now I've done everything that you could possibly do with this tournament. So we got the Ladder Bayleaf Saints, the defending champions, I believe, with Mr.Soup, one of the most performingest, enormingest, winningest players this year. Then we got BeeorSomething. And I figured I would cover a game of GSC NU. Now I want you to know that this is week 6. And with only 6 teams, technically that would mean 5 of the teams or whatever, no, not 5. A certain number of the teams have been eliminated. I believe only 2. And we've decided, since this tournament is prone to some of the most heinous shit, absentee managers by the end, a lot of dropping out, dead games, we decided that the only solution is to adopt a Belgian Pro League format. That means that the 4 top teams are going to be playing for 3 more weeks. And like I said, Mr.Soup is playing, representing the Bayleaf Saints, and BeeorSomething is repping what I believe is the Wobbuffet Village. And I already showed you guys a game last week, so here is another game. This one is more recent. We got GSC NU. It's a little bit more fun. I'm recording. We got Firo and the Wiggy with a nice wig on his tuff. Cursing. Took a nice double edge to the face. Firo is pretty good. I don't play too much NU anymore, but Firo is nice in the lead because it just has a good matchup against a lot of things opening up. It can secure a 2-hit KO on a Pineco lead. And generally, it's just pretty strong. Double edge paired with Hidden Power Ground. It happens to be the fastest. Think of it like an ADV Aerodactyl, I guess. But it has Rest and Sleep Talk, and it actually works. So, yeah. As you can see, it can't quite 3-hit KO. And it gets parried, so this jeopardizes the life of Firo, but it's not out of the count yet. Out for the count. Octillery, leave it to Cherry to misconstrue or some sort of saying. Doubling to Wiggy, I find that kind of interesting. Just took the opportunity to go there. Perhaps, I don't know my calcs very well. I don't think that a Surf from Octillery would have killed by any means, but it definitely prompted the rest. It ensured the rest, so I suppose I can understand this sequence. Cursing up, with Wigglytuff being awake, it has a slight, just an ever so slight advantage on the sleeping one, unless, of course, it takes more damage than it can handle. And now, Bee's Tuff is going to wake up. So, this is a wig off. Who has the best wig? Who is rocking the better Duke? Bee says, "You're lame." So, clearly doesn't appreciate Mr.Soup's choice in attire. I mean, if you look at the avatar, you can only deduce that it's not exactly the drippiest. It's kind of a sage with, its left shoulder just completely bare. some sort of Buddhist monk look. Not really, not going to get you all the hose. So we have, but Mr.Soup, where he may be lacking in fashion and haute couture, he certainly makes up for that with his skill. He's going to have to withstand a couple of hits. It's not uncommon in NU to have no normal resist, just because of the plethora of different threats. The top dog, or I guess bird, is Xatu, S tier. But there are just so many threats to account for that you can't rely solely on Xatu to win. In fact, there are Xatu-less teams. Wigglytuff, it's more of a must-have in NU than, say, having the old milestone S tiers are in UU or in UUBL. So, but not quite as much as having a Snorlax in Ubers or OU. And Mr.Soup is just taking the hits here. But in the process, he is using up his sleep talks. So I just remembered that I'm kind of at work, but I'm not going to be able to record this whole game. So I'm going to have to interrupt it and then continue at some point later. Because I remembered the turn count for this game, as this interaction might be anticipating, and the fact that it's just Gen 2, and the lower you go down the power rankings, the more frequent the number of sleep talkers are. I'm looking at my own reflection in disbelief. Yeah, we're gonna whoopsie daisy. We're gonna skip ahead here. It has been one very long sleep for the Wigglytuff, only to wake up and go right back to sleep. This is not an early bird, not someone that you can rely on for your Monday morning shift. The other Wigglytuff, on the other hand, is just clocking in the hours. It probably should apply as a surgeon, because it's been awake with its eyes just staring wide open, not even blinking for a second. I don't know, man. It's something else. Manages to put the other Wiggy on a wheelchair, only for, you guessed it, for Wigglytuff on the left to just go right back to sleep. This has been 30 turns with no switches from the other player, from B, which is pretty incredible, actually. That's pretty consistent. Now let's take a moment to consider why that is the case, because that is actually pretty interesting. That's very rare for a game to not have, you know, not switching is a very powerful play because it reveals a lot. Or rather, it reveals very little, nothing at all. It says a lot, but it reveals very little. It's kind of like, I have the confidence I can beat you, and there are only that many Pokemon with the staying power to simply not switch after a certain amount. In any tier, even in GSC. But rarely ever does a game last this long with someone staying in the lead position and it not just snowballing out of control for the opposition. The fact that Mr.Soup manages to hold it together is pretty interesting, but at this point, there is a development. Like, what about what comes after? Because Mr.Soup is running out of Sleep Talk PP, and B is running out of Body Slams. So, what comes of it after? Do you have a contingency plan for a +4 Wigglytuff? And what is that plan? Now, Mr.Soup has revealed only 2 other Mons, and we have seen Fearow. We know that it boasts a hidden power ground just by experience, and you can consider it like a wall breaker for the normal resists. So B may have another answer to that and did not respond to Fearow with that contingency plan. So Mr.Soup would still technically have a way of breaking through with Fearow. He also has a Octillery that has really high special attack and can definitely take maybe 1 +4 body slam, but not more than that. It can definitely live struggle, and yeah. So I would also suspect a Xatu on both teams, to be completely honest with you, and perhaps a Spiker, because with a slow setup sweeper, you kind of want some sort of control of the playing field. Otherwise, it's difficult to make progress. I mean, it's nice to have the curse sweeper and the wall breaker and the special attacker, but that really only leaves you with so much you can do once you're on the defensive and you're trying to prompt switches from the opponent. So, as for the team, I doubt that it is a hyper-offensive team on either side. We're looking more towards either some sort of bulky offense, maybe something along the lines of a Dugong slash... what's the name? Oof, it's on the tip of my tongue. Azumarill. And on B's team, B's side, possibly some sort of bulky, tanky Mons. Otherwise, we could be looking at something more like a balanced team. So, yeah, doesn't look like it's special offense heavy. I don't really remember all of the squads, and this tier is constantly updating, so I just wanted to take a moment to talk about that. Imagine being at work and talking about Pokemon. Lol, if someone sees this. But yeah. Nobody knows about my gaming channel. These guys are just throwing insults at each other. You know? This is pretty typical. This is like a standard press conference between 2 fighters. Curse. Yeah, you know. Throwing shade at the other guy. B's Wigglytuff is talking about the guy's drip. Mr.Soup brings it to a personal level, and his Wigglytuff is talking about the other one's family, about how his wife is in his DMs. You know, B doesn't take kindly to that, but he doesn't really respond to the provocation. Just keeps going. Obviously, I'm making this shit up. It's not true. I'm talking about the 2 pink blobs, not about the real people. Although we did see an insult fly the other way. You're lame. But that's about as scathing as a YouTube comment. And finally they decide to bring the altercation to another level. I'm not even going to bother to look at the PP because no one, including myself, gives a shit. We're just here for the fun of it. And honestly, when we do get into the nitty-gritty, I want it to be relevant. And so we're going to wait for something to actually happen before I actually talk about this stuff. There has been no development from the first turn, aside from the para on the Fearow, and I guess the fact that these Mons are no longer able to sweep anything anyways. B has been pretty good with the preservation of attacking PP. And he's not going to have to worry about using all those rests and sleep talks, I assume. But we're going to speed this forward. And a para, that's good, I guess. Could be good, could be bad. Well, that Wigglytuff has to struggle, so I guess the para can only come to B's benefit here. He does have 2 more slams. And after which he's going to kind of have to stall using rest. And then he's going to have to struggle sweep his opponent. But I don't know how that's going to look. And would you look at that? Triple normal And, oh my... I am without words. Okay, well, there is the aforementioned obligatory normal resist to challenge the triple normal team, for whom it tolls. Getting kind of creative here. Ooh. Okay, the Porygon living... I would say by the skin of its teeth, but it's more like by the... it's more like by the... I don't even know at this point. Lamest shit I've ever seen. Well, I mean, you're one to talk. Both of you have brought Cursemons. I mean, I get it, right? But... this is not reflective of a typical GSC NU game. It's usually very... there's a lot of movement involved, lots of switching, boom, a varied assortment of offense. I can't say I don't like this kind of team. It's just more enjoyable to see it interacting with another type of team along the lines of what I just described. And so we got a lot of para nonsense. T-Wave Double-Edge Curse Recover. And B is just slightly faster. It's going to be able to recover, but a para will spell Doom for either player at this point. And B was prioritizing speed, but now that he's bulked up, he's going to stay slow, which could be bad. There's the crit that we have been waiting for over 100 turns now. And what is Weezing going to do? Boom, doesn't kill, and frankly, neither will a Nice Beam. So, Mr.Soup deciding to sacrifice the Wiggy, which at this point was fodder anyways. And the Pori just survives once again by the whatever of its whatever. Because that thing is not human, nor is it biological. Hacks, deserved. Sure, I guess. Who deserved it? I don't think these players hate each other, but they're kind of, there's a bit of back and forth, let's just say. Oh, God. Okay. That was needed. That was very much so. Triple normal on either side. And there you go. There's no Xatu, so... you brought the same 6 I built, claims Mr.Soup. And there's the normal resist. Graveler outspeeding, but has to call the right shot. If he booms on the wrong target, it's over. Stays in and gets earthquaked on. What is the answer to that? Yet another Weezing. Weezing is very reliable. Oh no! Oh yes, that was a good call out. Good play on either side. 50% chance of protecting again. Doesn't protect. Is he going to protect here? No, that actually won't amount to much. So, no need to boom. But that Wiggy for fodder in the back looks pretty good. Octillery, it looks like I did manage to stay the whole 20 minutes here. I mean, this better be worth it, you know. I'm putting my job on the line, guys. I'm going to start selling sandwiches after this. Hey, that's a boom. That's a free boom. Deserved. You want to redo and play an actual game, says B. Lol. This is pretty funny, because this is insufferable. Okay. I don't know. Hold it together, my guy. This is still a decent-ish game. I mean, the quality of each player's play wasn't bad or questionable. I mean, it's just ghost types don't exist, which would have nipped the problem at the butt. Mr.Soup is hoping to unfreeze the Slurpee fish. I wonder which one tastes better. Because now's about time I head out for lunch, and even my screen recording is telling me that this file weighs 500 megabytes. That's like 1/12 of a Fallout game or something. This is starting to be kind of taxing on everyone watching, but a commendable effort nonetheless. Firo proving to do absolutely jack shit all throughout, but I guess it was good fodder. This really is going to boil down to a 1v1 as Weezing misses the thunder. Not that it matters. And there's the crit. Oh, shit. And a rest. And a... Oh. Come on. I'm being loud as fuck. So, yeah. All right. A moment of truth, I guess. Resto. Presto. Because the Weezing can't quite boom here for the obvious reason that it's just risky. And there you go. Wow, nobody liked this game. Everyone came out a worse man. So, I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. And commendable effort. Great job. Mr.Soup taking it home. Proving that he can play more than just OU. We know very well that he can. Or I do at least. But actually, I think I knew him as an NU player, now that I think about it. But he's peaked at a very high level of OU. That it kind of just overshadows this sometimes. So, I can't say that this was a bad game by any means. Good play. Good job. Good job, both.